I spend a lot of time working with teachers, and we work on curriculum issues, getting them prepared. I really kind of view the teachers as my students now, and hopefully the work that I do with them helps their students succeed.
She thinks in sequence of order. When we come about with an activity, she always has the list of this is what we need to do first, this is what we need to do second.
Many times Cherie can draw a picture and help a staff member or a team understand the issue where it might take me 3 or 4 minutes of words to do the same thing.
Cherie is a thinker. She's creative. She likes to get things done in a timely manner. And she's a person who allows for her employees to have input.
If you have something to say, she honors what you have to say.
She leads by example, and she can move a campus forward. And all of our campuses have received awards in the past, whether being recognized or gold performance, and it's because of her leadership.
Her title is Director of Elementary Instruction, but that's not a real confining title. I mean, she's more of a generalist than that.
So helping them to understand special programs, to understand curriculum issues, testing issues, grants, all the management pieces that come with a school district, and how to take that whole big picture and put it all together and make a successful school, from the principal to the teachers to the students.
Not only does she see where our district needs to go, but she knows how to get our district there.
I think I was born to be a teacher. In high school, thought a little bit about doing some other things, but as soon as it came time to truly decide where I was going, and I came here because Sam Houston is a teacher's college, and I knew that was what I wanted to do, and it had the best program available. My mentor going through college was Bess Osford, and reading specialist. I was undergraduate reading minor, and then was her graduate assistant when I worked on my master's right after that. She will always be that special person that truly taught me how to teach reading and helped me grow up, and so it was more than that. So.
One of the things that Cherie does that's kind of an outreach of her job here is her community involvement. Another endeavor that she took on a few years ago was working as a director on the Folk Festival. And the Folk Festival, we have a 4th grade day where kids come from across East Texas to Huntsville, and she actually sets up and helps manage that and to help bring opportunities for our students here in Huntsville, but not only our students, but other kids across the state to come in and experience life during Sam Houston's time. She's always giving back, not just to our district, but to other districts as well in that way.
Whether it's working with teachers or academic coaches or principals, she's very flexible and very knowledgeable. And people have her respect here, and she's had an influence on our kids and their achievement.
She's just so broad in her thinking and her vision, and the accomplishments we're making as a district, a lot of them can be attributed to her.
Mrs. Wagner is probably one of the most extraordinarily gifted teachers I've ever had the opportunity to work with.
She's not just any teacher. She's one of the best teachers there is in Anderson-Shiro.
The thing that I enjoy the most about teaching, especially 1st grade, is that they are so loving, they are so honest, they are very forgiving. I constantly show them that I make mistakes, and we all laugh about my mistakes.
She was very instrumental in helping to get a new building for us.
Her way of explaining things and being non-judgmental and respecting others' feelings and beliefs was very, very instrumental in helping the bond issue get passed. I know as a parent raising 3 children, I would have loved for my children to have Dana as a teacher.
I really use those teachable moments when my students have a question. I will stop what I'm doing and we will go off on a tangent. I will find a book. We will get on the internet. One of my students, he had gone to a birthday party over the weekend and he brought in some gold coins and they had the Statue of Liberty on them. And so, here we go. We pull down the United States map. We locate New York, talk about the Statue of Liberty. The little boy goes to the library, gets a book on the Statue of Liberty. He does all this research. He does a PowerPoint presentation for my whole class.
One time she let me take a presentation over the Statue of Liberty. We learned about math, we learned about police officers, we learned about sheriffs and our states of Texas and all.
She has gone from the insecure teacher that when she first started to one that's very secure, so secure that now she's able to help other teachers.
She's the type of teacher that another teacher feels comfortable to go to and say, I'm really struggling with this. Do you have any ideas? And she has a way in working with those teachers that doesn't make them feel like a failure.
And I can remember in algebra classes that the kids, my peers, were like, Dana, how are you getting this? And after class, they'd say, can I just copy your homework? And instead of me just giving them my homework to copy, I would sit them down. I was trying to teach them how to get the answer. When I graduated, my dad, he wanted me to be a veterinarian, so I went to A&M for a semester and just, a year of pleading, Dad, this is just not me. I can't do this. I don't understand it. I have a passion. I want to go to Sam Houston. I want to be a teacher. That's who I am. I know my parents are very proud of me. My dad, he passed away and he died tragically in an accident in 2003, but I have no doubt that he is very proud of me. He was very active, even in my classroom. He loved the days when we would have family days and I would invite him to come here and talk to my students. And so he always felt so special being my dad. I loved being in the education department. I think that's when I really felt like I was going to college to do what I wanted to do. They gave us a lot of independence to observe where we wanted to observe, to go out and read the articles we wanted to read. The hands-on experience in the classrooms that they provided us from methods and even from some of my reading blocks were great. So even though you're going through the program and you're wondering, why am I taking this class or why am I in this bowling class, it all has a way of making you who you are, making you a well-rounded person with a lot of experiences that I bring into my classroom and use with my students. I love the way that she was able to read a book to young adults and she could bring us to tears. She could move us to laughter. And to this day, some of the books that she read out loud are my favorite books. I read them to my class also. So I would say it would be Dr. Lassane. The reason I do the things that I do and I'm on all the committees I'm on is because I want things to work. I want the people in Anderson to be proud of our school. I'm raising my family here. I have 2 children who go to school here.
I'm proud of you, Mom.
I have a wonderful husband because I know that sometimes he sacrifices because I am so dedicated to my job, but he supports me and what I do, and he's always right behind me. Last year, Mr. Probst had nominated me for this award. So my husband and I, we went with him, and at the end of the ceremony, he said, now, Wagner, I brought you here tonight because I wanted you to see that you are just as good as the winner. And he said, the next time we come back here, you're going to be the winner. A week before I found out that I had won this award, it was December 30th, and my kids and I had gone into College Station. And so we were sitting and we were eating, and my 6-year-old son, he says, Mom, they didn't give us fortune cookies. And I said, oh, well, go over there and ask him if you can get them. And I pop my fortune cookie open, and I read my fortune, and I'm looking around to see if I'm being pranked because I could not believe what my fortune and my fortune cookie said. And I'd just like to read to you that it says, you will receive some prestigious prize or award. I only called one friend and I told her, I said, Kristen, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe what my fortune says. And I read it to her, and she says, I've always known you were great. I really think you have a shot at this. So I just wanted to share that with you. My fortune.
I just remember growing up always knowing I wanted to be a teacher, and it started with teaching the neighborhood 3-year-old in the shed out back. I was, I guess, maybe 9 and she was 3, and I would teach her everything I learned in school, everything. And I just remember feeling very fulfilled when I taught her how to make a 5-point star, and she went around her parents' house and drew it in markers all around the walls. She got in trouble, but I felt really good about it. So I think it's just something I've always known I wanted to do.
It did not take me long at all to realize Miss McWilliams was not only a fantastic teacher, but also a leader among the teachers. When you do go by her classroom or come into her classroom, she sets up an environment where learning is just exciting and fun and engaging.
She's so creative and very fun and outgoing when she teaches us. It makes the class much more enjoyable.
My students started decorating the ceiling based on the literature that we were reading or some of the class discussions, and this ceiling has evolved over the last 5 years. We've run out of ceiling tiles to decorate. The others won't pop up. They don't understand why I have a severed arm hanging from the wall or rats on that wall. Throughout the year, each of the tiles starts to make sense, and by the end of the year, everything makes sense. So I can use it as a tool that way.
I would be like, hey, Miss Williams, I need help with my essay. She's like, okay, just meet me after school. And she's really busy a lot. Like, she does so much. I don't know how she has time to stay after school with us and help us with our stuff, but she does.
Since the day I met her, I trust her. I knew there was something different about her than other teachers. And it's just an energy about her. It's just, you just believe everything she says. And then knowing that she believed in me, it helped me with that extra push.
She is our Building Better Relationships coach, and other teachers do come to her when they meet some challenges that they're facing. So she does, she has the respect of the administration, she has the respect of her own students, but above all, when your peers put you above the rest, you know that you're good.
I feel that, although I don't think anybody could ever really be prepared to be a teacher, that first year, because you learn so much on the job. But I think as much as a teacher preparation program can prepare you, they did just that, with the experiences I had observing, with student teaching, with, doing 30-minute lessons in Conroe, the small classes, the one-on-one I felt that we had with the teachers. Interestingly, she's at Sam Houston State University, and her name is Dr. Patricia Williams, and she was my professor as an undergraduate, and since then our relationship has grown from, professor-student to colleague to friend and beyond, and I think that I've really modeled my teaching life after her. I just had an all-around great experience, and I appreciate all the opportunities that Sam Houston's given me too. I feel like maybe if I went to a larger school that I wouldn't have had that many opportunities that you get from, being close with your professors and with the staff and the community.
She's probably the best teacher I've ever had. She's kind of pushed me more into wanting to go into becoming a teacher myself. I was iffy about it at the beginning of the year, but now that she's had such an impact on me, I want to be able to have the same effect on people.
She makes it extremely relevant for the students. She creates an environment where the students are pulling information out for themselves, and then she's just coaching and confirming that information. She truly has those skills of a master teacher.
I was teaching 8th grade journalism at Mance Park Middle School in Huntsville, and there was a student who was lying on the floor, and I remember she said, "Don't mess with him, and he won't mess with you." And so I thought that was kind of odd. But over the week, I got to know the students a little bit more, and I realized that this student, who was 16 in an 8th grade class, was really smart, and he loved to read books of his own choice, and he carried on adult conversations, compared to his peers. I mean, even beyond what a normal 16-year-old, would say. And I realized that he had a lot of potential, and I wanted him to fulfill it. So I had this great idea. I would make him the editor of the newspaper, and we hadn't had a newspaper to my knowledge up to that point. So we put together the first newspaper, and since he had that leadership role, he really blossomed and he brought his 0 average up to a 90. His grades in his other classes started to improve. He started to dress better. He was kind of a little slovenly. I think he probably dabbled in a little bit of drugs and seemed to have stopped that by the end of the year. And he produced a really nice paper. And he went on to high school. And I don't know really what happened to him in high school, but he ended up dropping out. But at age 20 or 21, he committed suicide. And that really, really affected me because I saw the difference that I made because I believed in that kid. And I think that experience caused me to continue teaching when sometimes I may have pursued something else instead. I always think back to Ryan and those differences that we make that sometimes we don't even know about until much later. And he also caused me to pursue further education. I'm working on a doctorate focusing on gifted and talented education because I really feel that he was one of those unidentified GT kids whose social and emotional needs in particular weren't met. And I want to continue to meet them, and learn how to best do that.
I've known Sherry Treadway for a long time because I knew her when she was a classroom teacher in Klein, and I was delighted when she became a school counselor because I knew she would have the ability as a school counselor to impact all the students at a campus.
Sherry's all about connections. Making connections with the teachers, supporting the teachers, making connections with our parents.
Well, I'm the counselor. And when I was a teacher, I always admired that position. I always thought that was a great job description because it's a real positive role in kids' lives.
She's a great counselor, and she's just the kind of person that makes a room light up.
My life wasn't always easy growing up, and so there were teachers in particular who took me under their wing. Coach Peterson, Miss Viva Murray, Miss Jeanette Freeman. One of the reasons I became an educator is because I wanted to be like them. As a teacher, I taught fourth graders, and I found myself spending a lot of time helping children with their emotional and social needs, and I realized how important that was for children.
My brother came here this year, and he started getting a little bit worried. And so he's kind of with the situation like me, and I told him about Miss Treadway and what she does. She helps me a lot with my problems, all that stuff.
Well, she knows how the kids feel, and they feel pretty sad. So she's able to help them and make them feel better.
I feel very comfortable with it because she helps people and she is very kind with children.
One of the fun things about being the counselor is I don't have to do discipline. So everybody loves the counselor. It's kind of a neat thing. My role here at Middlestat is to facilitate children's emotional health or to help with problems that they might be having so that they can learn. But we also have those who aren't having their basic needs met, and some of those needs, even food or clothing or safety. And so one of the things that I work real hard at is bringing parents into the picture. You know, some parents are walking into this school with a bad experience themselves. Maybe they had trouble learning. Maybe they had some problems with their behavior. Maybe they didn't graduate.
Sherry makes them feel at ease, feel comfortable, and that we can tackle anything and help your child with those good study skills and feeling good about school.
We encourage our parents to volunteer, and for some that's just a foreign concept, but they understand that being here for their child is a very powerful picture. My friend Adria Stacha was the counselor at my school, Greenwood Forest, at the time, and she encouraged me to go into counseling, and she said she thought that I had what it took to do that. And then, so I went to Sam, and the program was wonderful. It was one of the most invigorating experiences of my intellectual career. One of the people at Sam Houston State that really impacted me was Dr. Judy DeTrude. She's what I'd call a real teacher, just really teaching the small nuances of counseling, not just the big picture about it, not just teaching from the textbook, but she gave us a lot of experience, a lot of practice. She was just a master, and I just really appreciate her as part of that education.
Sherry is instrumental for being a mentor to our new counselors coming in, and whenever new counselors come in, they call Sherry for advice and guidance.
At Middlestat, one of the most important and vital things I think that I do is to facilitate a program of mentoring for our students.
It has grown into a very robust program. We have 60 high school students that come over on a regular basis, at least once a week, and they talk to them and they connect with them and they follow up and give them encouragement, keep them focused.
There's a girl named Annie, and Annie's now a senior in high school. Her special issue was that her father died when she was young, and she mentors a student named Lauren, whose father was killed 2 years ago in a car accident.
Annie and I have a really great relationship ever since first grade because I thought it was kind of cool because when we have like the similar thing, so I thought it was kind of cool to have somebody else have the same thing as me.
My favorite thing about actually coming to mentor is that I think I can kind of see myself when I was younger in Lauren, and that I went through this and I can see how, you know, it's affected somebody now that I'm older, and I can remember my past experiences and help build her up, help her grow, which helps me grow ultimately.
Some of our kids have been students themselves, and they're now mentoring other students here at our school, and that is just so neat to see.
The company was founded by Charles Butt's grandmother, and she had moved to Kerrville, 60 miles outside of San Antonio, because her husband, who had a respiratory ailment, was too sick to stay in Tennessee, and so they moved to Kerrville. He couldn't work, and so she took $60 and started a little grocery store, and they would deliver groceries in her son's wagon. And she virtually leveraged everything she had, and it became successful. But even in the early days, this was right after 1905 when we started, she would take her perishables that she couldn't sell anymore, and she would take them down to the river where vagrant villages were, and she would give those foods to people who needed them. And so there really was this history of being philanthropic and giving back to the community that started day one, 103, now 104 years ago. HEB is an interesting place because we're privately held, and we have a man who's extremely vested in Texas just being a wonderful place. And so we spend a lot of time selling groceries and doing it as well as we can. We're the largest privately held supermarket chain in the United States. A lot of people don't realize that. And we really take on the persona or the personality of the man who owns us, Charles Butt.
I just think that he's one of those people that just realizes what's most important, and he puts his priority in the right place.
That Charles is really an amalgam of his mother and his father. His mother, very philanthropic, very caring about people. His father, very strong believer in corporate culture in terms of how we treat people. It doesn't matter if you're a wealthy customer or a poor customer. It doesn't matter if you're a bagger on the front end or a store manager. It doesn't matter if you're the supplier that comes in. We care about you, and we're going to treat you with integrity and respect. So what Charles has said on numerous occasions is, I charge less for groceries than I'm supposed to, and I pay my people more than I have to. And the combination of that is that I built a successful business. But I think the third leg of that stool is that you be a great community citizen. And there are certain areas that we believe a lot in. Hunger relief, obviously that plays well with food. Last year we donated 26 million pounds of food throughout the state. But then the other piece of that is you look at education. There are a number of reasons that HEB gives to public education. First and foremost is it's just simply the right thing to do. And if you want to be a good corporate citizen, you work hard to make the cities that you work in a better place.
We have 2 HEB stores in our school district, And they are business partners of ours. And anything that we need, they step up and they just say, we'll take care of it. And sometimes we don't even have to ask.
HEB has always been a friend to education and a friend to educators. They've been business partners with educators. They have donated money. They've been a part of the Raise Your Hand campaign with Mr. Butt as one of the founding members of that to really get people to support and promote public education.
We've given away over $3 million in prize money in the Excellence in Education program since its inception in 2002. It's a highlight of our year every year, and we've honored over 800 educators and over 175 schools and school districts. And it acts like the Academy Awards for teachers when you're able to call them up on stage and we run a video around them and they're able to bring their family and just to feel acknowledged. You know, when you go to Japan, the HACE system in Japan rates teachers at the same level as engineers. And unfortunately we don't do that, but you can't think of a higher impact job in the United States than being a teacher.
It's not the monetary award that anybody receives. That's not really the most important thing. It's the recognition. It's the fact that there's an organization out there that is saying to educators across this state, we value what you're doing.
They walk away just so appreciative, and that's I think what makes us feel so good about being able to do it. Not necessarily to take credit for it, but just the warm glow we have afterwards is saying, wow, we had the opportunity to make a difference in somebody's life. And if you think about it, that's really what teachers do every day, is that they have the opportunity to make a difference in their students' lives. So this is just a chance to acknowledge those teachers and hopefully incent others for excellence. So that's what the HEB Excellence in Education program is all about.
We won the award for the Large District School of Excellence, and with that award came a $100,000 prize.
Which has enabled us to expand our virtual school program. We are so excited about that.
And what we've been able to do is purchase laptops and pay teachers to work with students, and we've started at the students who are at greatest risk.
There are situations that have come up to where students haven't been able to come to school, whether it be financial, it could be personal, where they've had child care issues, illnesses, all sorts of reasons.
They can do it at home. If they have to work after school, they can go home and do it, work on the weekends. It's open entry, open exit. So we've been able to help students earn credits towards graduation.
I want to thank HEB for giving the money to Aldi and for supporting virtual schools. We're planning, after we graduate, to go to Sam Houston in fall 2009 and continue with our careers over there.
So we're very appreciative to the work that HEB has done for education.
On behalf of the 71,000 people who work at HEB and wear a blue badge every day, and we thank you for this fine award. We're proud for the things that we're able to do to the community. We enjoy selling groceries, but in reality, we really feel good about when we advance the causes of what's important to Texas, and there's no cause that's more important to Texas than education. So thank you, Sam Houston State. Thank you, everyone that's here tonight. We're proud and we thank you.